Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is the Patreon. This is the Patreon question mailbag. Super excited. The first episode. Now wasn't a lot of Patreon questions because I did it on short notice. But next week, guys, if you're a Patreon subscriber, please go to your Patreon page, drop some questions in the comments of the post, and you'll get your own show. But for today, we're going to use the first Patreon question. It will be the first one up. And then we'll get into some other questions from the community. And even one question where I'm doing a direct rebuttal to a comment. So I told you guys I read the comments. I really do. This is a direct rebuttal to one. And it's going to be pretty fun. So as you guys know, I'm ready to go. Please subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube for the best Baltimore content on the internet. Again, like and share this video. It helps us grow and it makes this community bigger. Now let's hop into the first question, and this question comes from our Patreon subscriber Van Leer Anderson Jr. Thank you so much. I had to borrow from your feature video idea. Also, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you get to suggest feature videos, and this will be one of them in the future. Thank you so much. And Van Leer Anderson Jr. It says, since Ozzie Newsome is going to be changing roles next year and Eric DeCosta is filling the GM role, do you think DeCosta will be a more effective GM or not? Thank you so much for your question and your support. Now, I am not ready to say that he'll be a more effective GM. And the reason is we're talking about a Hall of Famer, right? We are. And we're talking about a guy who has drafted multiple Hall of Famers. So I think there has to be some semblance of respect for Ozzie. I think it would be hard to be better than Ozzie. Now, can Eric DeCosta do it? Yes, right? It can happen. We never thought a quarterback would be better than Brett Favre. Then we had Aaron Rodgers. So it can happen. Now, am I confident in him? Yes, I actually am. I am confident that he'll do a good job. Am I confident he'll be better than Ozzie? I do not know. And I would lean on the side of no. Again, it's not that DeCosta is bad. It's that Ozzie was so good for so long that it's hard for me not to say, you know, okay, you know, Ozzie, you earned your credit, you earned your respect. You are right now going to be the best ever Ravens GM until I find somebody else who proves to me first that they can be that. Thank you so much for your question. And now we're going to go to the next question. And this is a direct rebuttal to one of our friends here, Unknown Trapper 23. And he's had a question on the show before. And so I wanted to answer his question and break it down for him a little bit. If you guys didn't watch one of our Raven Space dailies, I said that Mosley's biggest need for improvement is to make impactful. He needs to make impactful plays, and I don't think he does that. And then Unknown Trapper said, "How does Mosley not make impactful plays?" And then he might subscribe and I'm going downhill and blah 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 blah. You know, whatever. Now this is something I've never done with you guys before. So if you guys, you know, want more of this, let me know in the comments below. But I'm about to break down my argument to why, you know, Mosley needs to improve and make it impactful plays. So this, guys, if you can see on the screen, is Pro Football Focus. Now, some people like it, some people don't. All scouting is subjective, right? But these scouts have been doing it for multiple years. They know more about football than me or anyone combined, whatever knows. These guys know football. And so you can say, you know, scouting subjective. I don't want their opinion. But their opinion coincides with my opinion in this case. Now, some things I think they're over-exaggerating, but I do think that for the most part, they are correct here. They rank CJ Mosley as the 35th best middle linebacker in the NFL. That means there's 32 other linebackers that are better than him, right? So why would they say this, right? Now, you know, again, let's look at the numbers here. And if you guys can't see the columns, don't worry. I'll come back up. You can see run defense, coverage, and pass rush are the big three of how they grade people, right? So if you look at CJ Mosley, he has a 46 grade. A 46 grade is a terrible grade. Let me show you guys. These are what 46 players look like, right? You see Jayon Brown. These are what 46 players look like. They use the red color for a reason. So he's a 46 in run defense, right? So when you're a 46 in run defense and you lead the team in tackles, to me that means that you make a lot of tackles, but they're not impactful tackles, right? That's what it means to me. You may lead the team in tackles, but your tackles are worth less than, let's say, a person who had less tackles than you, like Reggie Ragland, right? Had less tackles, but has a better defensive grade. And it's because what happens, and what happened in the game, and what I saw with my eyes, which why I gave you guys the opinion I gave you, is that CJ Mosley did not make tackles in the backfield. Okay? He did not. His tackles came 4 yards downfield. And you know what that means? That means that the offense is on schedule. That means your tackle was not worthless because you have to get the guy on the ground. But your tackle does not change the game. Now let's look at the people at the top of the list, right? And let's look at the people who make impactful plays. Bobby Wagner, 89 in run defense, which means, and if you looked at the games last year, Bobby Wagner made tackles in the backfield. Look at number 7, Sean Lee. We don't even have to talk about Sean Lee. Sean Lee, when he was not in the lineup, the Cowboys lost 3 straight games. When he came back in the lineup, they won 3 straight games. Right? His run defense is a 90. If you watch Sean Lee play, he predicts where the running back's going. He makes tackles in the backfield at the line of scrimmage. He forces offenses into third and long situations. CJ Mosley did not do that this year. That's what an impactful play is. So, Unknown Trapper, anyone who agrees with Unknown Trapper, you are entitled to your opinion, as I'm entitled to my opinion. As the scouts who have been doing this for their entire lives and have more experience are entitled to their opinion. Just like firefighters are entitled to tell you what fires are about, right? You know, professionals know things. I'm not a professional. I'm a fan like you guys. These are professionals. I do my research. I do my homework. I look at film. I have access to film. I watch the film. I have rewatched the film. I don't come out here and, you know, talk out the side of my neck, guys. I really do the research and I do the work. And I did this. I came here. I actually looked at gameplay from Sean Lee and saw the difference. I did that. So, you know, again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that's what impactful plays mean. Okay, when you can go look at the film. And if you want, you guys can let me know if you want to go look at some film together. And if I can do that, I got to see the NFL doesn't play that game sometimes. So, but you'll be able to see that CJ Mosley's tackles came 3 to 4 yards downfield. Most of them. Okay. Luke Kuechly's tackles, Bobby Wagner's tackles, Telvin Smith's tackles, all came, you know, a lot of them. A whole lot of them came when the play was at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, which forces them into second and long, third and long situations. So one player who I named, let's say Luke Kuechly, Sean Lee, whatever. Sean Lee makes plays that force you into second and long. CJ Mosley's tackles force you into second and 6. Those are not the same. 2nd and 6 is on schedule. That's not an impactful tackle. That's not an impactful play. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now we're going to go to the next question. And this question comes from Kyle Ulrich. And his question is, do you think the Ravens should cut Maclin? Thank you so much for your question, Kyle. The answer is no right now. We're not in a position to cut talented receivers. Maclin was hurt last year, but we do know he's a talented receiver when he's healthy. He only has a 2-year contract, I believe. So let him play this contract out. If he's disappointing again, don't sign him, and then he'll be a journeyman somewhere else. But right now, let's keep him. I think we're gonna let go of Mike Wallace, so he needs to step up. But I do not think it's time to cut him. It's too early. Again, and he's also a veteran that can help the young players progress, right? When you have a young receiving core like we do, again, Tim White, Adebayo, Perriman, Moore, Campanero, that's five young receivers right there. Having those gap receivers to help them grow is valuable. We're seeing the same thing on defense with Terrell Suggs, where Terrell Suggs, though he plays much better than Jeremy Maclin has played, is serving as a catalyst so those new players who come on board have some time. They're not thrown into the fire right away. They can learn. Again, we even see the same thing with Marlon Humphrey. Now, he got called on a little early, but Marlon Humphrey was sitting back and learning and getting better, while Jimmy Smith and Brandon Carr were serving, especially Brandon Carr, were serving as gap players. So, you know, like I said, too early to start talking about letting him go. But, you know. Now, this is the last question. I want to say thank you guys for watching. Special shout out to Van Leer Anderson for sending in her Patreon question. And this question comes from Javi Sanchez. And he says, "This is my new favorite page. Thank you so much. I have a question. What do you think getting a middle linebacker with first, then all receivers and tight ends after that?" So, thank you so much for your question, Javi. That does not address the need of linemen. Again, a lot of you guys like Alex Lewis. I do not. He has not proven to me that he can be a great player. He had a decent first season where he was good in the run, but struggled with pass rush. Got injured, and then got injured again. So he's injury prone. And if you guys want to put your faith on an injury prone player, do your thing. I don't do that. So I would say we have to get a lineman somewhere early on to help out to plug him in. I've done, like I said, I've done some research. I do the research. You guys know I'm not a big college football fan. I'm not a fan of how the game plays, honestly. But I've done some research on this draft, and there's one player who I really think can elevate the defense in the first round at middle linebacker, and that's Roquan Smith from Georgia. I mean, reminds me of CJ Mosley in college. Ability to move, the ability to do everything that the coach asks him to do, ability to even find the ball. Now, he's going to be too valuable. CJ Mosley dropped. This guy's not dropping. This guy may be better than CJ Mosley in college. He's not dropping. And again, you gotta pick your poison. Do you like Ansawar, or do you want the receivers to be better? Right? You gotta pick, right? So I think they're gonna pick to keep Ansawar, and just go with it, right? Because you have to let him play if you want the offense to get better. It's just, the offense was what let us down. The defense had, like I said, 4 bad plays and big spots, or 4 bad drives and big spots. But again, the offense, didn't score, in the record lows the first 11 weeks of the season, first 12 weeks of the season. So that's what I would say. It is what it is. He's too good for us to get him. That's why I've been trying to talk around. He's too good for us to get him. He won't be there when we pick. We're gonna have to trade a lot of things to get to that level. I really do think he'll be going with the 4th, the 5th pick. Again, now we'll see what happens, but I think he's too far. That's the only middle linebacker I would jump up to get, Javi. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube for the best Barbaros content on the internet. Please share this video. If you want to become a Patreon member and have a guarantee that your question will be on the show, please go in the description below to our Patreon page and give $1 a month, $5, $10, whatever you wanted to give. Help us grow. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.